on Wednesday, April 29th. Welcome to the public hearing for the warrant review and recommendation for Springtown meeting. We have a couple of participants, finance committee members on Zoom, so we'll start with a roll call before we open the public hearing. On Zoom, we have Heather.
Here.
Mark.
Present.
In person, we have Deanne.
Here.
Greg.
Here.
Kyle.
Here.
Samir.
Here.
And Victoria is here as well. Great, thank you. Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Great, we have a motion to open the public hearing. Heather.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Dan.
Here. Oh, yes. Sorry.
Greg.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Samir.
Aye.
Victoria's aye. That motion carries. The public hearing is open. Excellent. Okay. So we're not going to take this exactly in numerical order. We have a lot of special guests and attendees this evening, which we're super, super excited about. We love a subject matter expert. So to start us off, we are going to begin with Article 24, which is the article to see if the town will vote to repeal the vote taken relative to the Central Massachusetts Mosquito Control Project from October 2019. This was submitted by the select board, but we did ask some subject matter experts from the Board of Health and the Health Department to come and maybe shed any light on any questions that we might have. So if you guys wouldn't mind coming forward and taking a seat at the desk, or one of you, or whatever's comfortable.
Thanks so much. We brought a whole crew tonight, so we'll introduce ourselves.
Please do.
My name is Nick Garcia. I'm the Regional Health Director for the Shared Health Department.
And I'm Tim McGlinchey. I'm the Director at Central Mass Mosquito.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And I'm Andrew Chalupka. I am the clerk of the Grafton Board of Health.
Thank you guys. We really, really appreciate you coming in. We've had a lot of questions from the Finance Committee, and I think the Select Board has had questions as well about whether or not the Finance Committee should recommend the article as it is written, which is kind of what we're here to discuss tonight. And I don't think that the Select Board ever had the opportunity prior to the article being printed or the warrant being printed to bring in the Board of Health. So we thought it would be prudent to have you guys come in. So I guess if, Tim, maybe you wouldn't mind just giving a rundown of what the program is, what it entails.
You know, I'd love to. I think that's probably pretty important to everybody. When they see mosquito control, they just assume it's, unfortunately, a truck going on the street spraying, which we're much more than about that. We're a year-round program. Everything we do is about eliminating or reducing the risk of mosquito control and mosquito control viruses. One of the most important things we do is a surveillance program. You may not know it, but there's over 54 species of mosquitoes in Massachusetts alone. Only certain species are vectors or carriers of disease. And those are the species we're most interested in. So we have a very robust trapping surveillance program in each of there's 44 cities and towns throughout Central Mass in our district. Throughout Grafton, I think we have 12 surveillance sites that we track on an annual basis throughout the summer, starting in June, going into October, believe it or not, now with climate change. So what we get these species of mosquitoes, and we bring them back to our lab, and we separate them by species. And there's many of the species we're not even interested in because we know whether they may bite you or they might bite frogs only. Believe it or not, some mosquitoes only bite reptiles. There's species that vector or carry disease or amplify disease. Primarily, what we're interested in around here is West Nile virus and Triple E. So,
Your Aedes aegypti, your Anophelines.
right. And then so we separate those out, and we work with the Department of Public Health in Jamaica Plain. So we send our species in where they're tested for virus. in the beginning of the season, a lot of times we don't hear anything. But when we do get, like last year was a very robust West Nile virus season. I think we had one hit even here in Grafton. I think we had like 103 hits throughout our district. What happens is the Department of Public Health notifies the Grafton Board of Health, and only after the Grafton Board of Health is notified are we notified, and then we contact with the Health Consortium or through the Grafton Board of Health, and we eventually put in additional surveillance to see how widespread this problem is, come across a plan. So that's where our surveillance strategy, that's like one of the most important things we do, because it allows us to tell the residents, you know, you really got to protect yourself at this point from mosquitoes. We preach protecting yourselves against mosquitoes year round. That's what we do. But we really try to ramp it up and get, you know, onto public service announcements and such throughout the, you know, summer when if things really pick up in the area. So one of the ways that we are about reducing risk is we use bacterial larvicides. We take water samples from wetlands. If there's mosquito larvae in the water, we'll put some bacteria in there that's pretty much species specific. This bacteria kills pretty much just mosquito larvae. It's a black fly larvae and some smaller stuff. Mosquitoes love to breed in catch basins. We treat the catch basins throughout the same with a very similar product. When there is some, we do get requests for mosquito, you know, large populations of mosquitoes, or if the health department decides they'd like to, we get virus and they'd like to kind of spray a certain section of the town, we do some adult spraying. And I know that perks everybody's ears up, but there's a very robust exclusion program. If you don't want your property sprayed or anything like that, it can certainly be excluded. All that information goes onto our GS tablets and the maps. Applicators are notified when they're approaching an area that's to be avoided. And so it's all about reducing risk. I just want to touch, I could go on ad nauseum, and I don't want to take too much of your time. But another very important thing we do is water management. And this is very important because mosquitoes need shallow, stagnant water to breed, if you don't know it. What happens is ditches get degraded, they fill in with road sand, and they either stagnate in the ditch itself or they prevent water from flowing and they flood an area, creating additional breeding habitat. If we can go in, we do a lot of this in the fall and winter and into the spring, but once the mosquitoes are on the loose, we get kind of busy, but we try to do it year round. We'll go in and we'll clean up a degraded ditch system. We may bring in an excavator and dredge out road sand to keep water flowing, to prevent flooding. And to be honest with you, it can be as simple as maintaining a brook that is perfectly going, so we don't create more habitat. We keep it in good form. I know, I'm just trying to think of a pretty big project we did here. I don't know if you guys have heard of Misco Brook, but there was a big problem with flooding up at Misco Brook. Where our interest, the resident was worried about getting flooded out. Our interest was this water was spreading out and creating like acres of shallow water, standing water. So we believe it or not, we went in and we put a beaver deceiver in, which actually got the water flowing. I know there's some other issues with that site further down the road, and we ended up going to take it out. But the resident was very happy with it. I don't know exactly, there were some other issues with Misco Brook that I don't know, but I'm just trying to kind of give you some insight on some of the stuff that we do year round, just to kind of give you an idea of what mosquito control is and how it's practiced here in Grafton. And I'll be quiet there, but I'll take any questions that you may have.
So I know there was discussion when we talked about this earlier that there were certain services that would still be offered once there was detection of Triple E or West Nile virus in a community, that it would be certain things would still happen. I guess, can you just describe like what would we lose by pulling out of this project, and what would still be in effect?
What you would lose is everything that I just told you from our perspective. Mm-hmm. Anything beyond that, you would be, now we are a state agency, but we're responsible to the towns that fund us, to be blunt about it. And if you're no longer funding us, we wouldn't be offering those services. But don't get me wrong, if there was Triple E in town and the state said, you know what, you gotta get your trucks over there to do something to help these people out, I would be here like a second. Nothing,
Okay.
nothing.
But you
But,
wouldn't be
but
doing the surveillance, correct?
we wouldn't be doing the surveillance, and there's no guarantee that they would send us to do that, because it's happened in other situations. I don't want to get into town naming, but where that had always been the way it's been done. But then there was some, I don't want to say litigation, but lawyers had questions. If you help this other town, what about the other surrounding towns in that area? Can you go in and do all those towns? And I was like, well, I can't, and not impact your project. And that was in 2024, and we had a human death in Acton and some other stuff going on in Littleton. So my answer was we could help this one town and think about the other towns, and they ended up, we ended up not helping them because we couldn't. The town made other arrangements weeks later, but I guess the answer is I can't tell you exactly how the state would react if you didn't fund us, because it's not my decision. I would do everything I could to help you.
Yeah.
Whether you funded us or not, because I don't want anybody to get sick.
Right. No, that description is helpful though, to understand what is funded by the funding, like the surveillance
Yeah.
and the water management.
And I think an additional important piece is that Mass DPH will assign risk categories for different communities, and so with those different risk levels, low, moderate, high, severe, come different activities that the state will support and recommend for that community. Some of that comes from the positive pool samples that we get from the surveillance that the Mosquito Control Project does. So in absence of that, our risk level might not be accurately reflected to DPH because we're not having that early surveillance and detection, and that could influence the type of later interventions and treatment strategies that DPH would recommend for the town of Grafton. So I think that's important to consider as well, that surveillance piece, that early detection has a lot to impact when we're thinking about what types of recommendations we're providing to the town.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So, related to that, you mentioned if there's Triple E in the town, the state might send you out to do something about that. But if you're not doing the early surveillance, then that would basically be when it's detected in like a human or an animal, like a
Right.
horse. Or
See,
something.
one of the benefits, you're asking what you would lose. What you would lose is a robust surveillance program. I know this Department of Public Health will make a priority of trying to get a trap into each town during the summer at some point, but you're certainly not going to have the level of surveillance that we're going to give you. And it's actually a big issue out west because, I mean, I've coming to this meeting with short notice, so I kind of did some reading on what's going on in town. And it's, the further west you go, the less money there is for programs like this. I live out in Brimfield, and we're on our own out there. But I mean, we have, equine horses staggering in fields, dying, and there just isn't the money, So I understand certain fiscal problems, but I mean it. So my point is, the state, when you get out west, they try to do some trapping in all these towns, but
Dan, if I could chime in. So one of the contexts I'd like to provide is a medical context. I'm a physician. Triple E has a 30% mortality rate. So by the time you're detecting it, even with surveillance, it's already present and your population is at risk. So, this is a public health necessity. Marlborough, Northborough, Southborough, Westborough, Shrewsbury, Worcester are all part of this project. If we pull out, I think we'd be joining Upton as the only town around here without this protection. People above the age of 50 are at particular risk, and we have a pretty significant population above the age of 50 in this town. The problem of West Nile virus and Triple E is growing. It is not going away as time goes on. The prevalence of these diseases is getting worse. So, from my perspective as a member of the Board of Health, as a physician, this is not really negotiable. This is a necessity, you know, in this day and age, in a town like this with significant wetlands, with significant, you know, not even seniors, again, people above the age of 50, which includes many people, not many people, some people in this room, you know, this is not something that should be on the chopping block for multiple reasons.
If I could just pick up on one point of what he's saying, and then I promise I'll end. But things have changed. The climate's changing. Why it's changing, everybody's got their theory on that, right? But there's no doubt that it's warmer into September and to October. What that does is gives mosquitoes a longer life cycle. And what happens is birds fly up from Florida, and mosquitoes feed on them. And you get amplifiers that will spread that virus into the bird population really thickly when it comes up. And then mosquitoes that bite both birds and humans, as you get further into the summer, will start picking up that virus. So, because the season's going longer, it's giving the virus more time to do its thing. When I first started in mosquito control, to give you an idea how old I am, I walked by that gym and I'm like, I played in that gym when I came into the school. But anyways, so I've been in over 30 years. And when I first started, the only place you really had Triple E was down in southeastern Mass. I mean, we'd get it every now and then in Westboro at the Great Cedar Swamp because Culicella melanoris is an amplifier. It's the main amplifier of Triple E. And they breed in what they're called crypts. And it's the root system of white cedar and red maples. Very tough to get larval control in there because of the way they lay in those crypts. So every now and then we'd find some in like Holliston also has, we'd find some of these in Holliston, but we'd find them later in the summer. In the last, I'll say 15 years, if you told me we'd have, cases in Grafton, cases in Northborough, death in Westboro, death in Acton, and in human cases in Littleton. I mean, up in New Hampshire they have cases. So my point isn't.
You're not fear-mongering.
I'm not fear-monger. I'm just trying to show you that this virus used to be down in southeastern Massachusetts, and now it's changing. And everybody has their patterns, has their ideas on why this is happening. Some people say, well, maybe the changing climate is changing patterns in bird migration, which is forcing the bird migrations to go at different times, at different spots, and changing it. We've had it in so much in central Mass in the last 10 years that it just has to be recognized that this virus has changed. And West Nile virus is also, last year it was like a robust year for West Nile virus. We had like 106 positives out of our lab last year.
Thank you. Also, for full context for the Finance Committee, our bill for this year is $86,759.
Thank you. That was going to be my question.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
what risk level has Grafton been at over the past few years?
Yeah, so I was able to look back for the last 4 years of data, and we were at a moderate risk for 3 of the last 4 years, so 25, 24, and 23. Was moderate risk, which means that there either was a positive sample or there's likely to be a positive sample within the community.
Thank you.
I was the director of operations in 2019. I wasn't the executive director or the director. So I wasn't involved in as much of the financial end of it, but just to do some research on what was going on, in 2019 when Tripoli came around, Grafton was critical because they had a human case, I believe, in Grafton.
I recall this.
And then I was reading that they were handing out cans of off at at Cooperman lumber.
Cooperman's.
Yeah, I know there was one year where it affected the fall sports schedule. So Mark has his hand up.
Mark, please. Thank you. Sorry.
Evan, when you balance your budget, I can't remember, did you keep this in or out?
It is currently out, but I
Okay.
will say that whichever direction the finance committee leans or town meeting leans, I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
I have enough capacity right now to absorb it if the town meeting decides to stay in.
Angelina.
Sorry, sorry for not knowing this, but did the select board hear the same information when they made the decision to?
No, as I understand it, the select board was going to reach out to us, but we have not heard from them.
Okay, so they just decided to do it without any of this information being presented.
I think that's more of a matter of timing. So they didn't vote on this when they originally discussed it. They took a straw poll.
Okay,
And then Tuesday of last week, they voted to close the warrant, and this is carried forward as something they said they wanted to see on the warrant.
okay,
So I don't know. I just don't want it to seem like that's the
yeah,
that was
no, I
that was the
just,
approach. I think it's more of a matter of timing.
And
Right.
I will say that.
yeah, I didn't mean to make it sound like it was on purpose, just that there aren't benefit of this information when they
Correct.
decided to do
Yep.
this.
They
That's
did
all.
say in that meeting that they would like to discuss further with the Board of Health, which is part of the reason why FinCom invited them here to this evening. So.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
do we know what percent of, or if there are, I'm sure it's hard to track, but do we have an idea of like how many people opt out within Grafton of the spraying?
I don't have those numbers off the top of my head, but I can provide them for you by tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just follow up.
Who should I send them to?
You can send them to
Can I
the.
send them to Annette and then
Yep.
Annette
Yeah,
will-
Perfect.
pass them along.
Yeah,
Thanks.
perfect. That works.
I will say, I've heard the environmental concerns about spraying for a town with active farms and a golf course. A one-time, once-a-year application of an insecticide is likely going to be dwarfed by the other applications of pesticides that seep into our water supply due to industrial and commercial activities in this town.
And,
That's my guess, at least.
just that everybody, I mean, a lot of people who are opposed to spraying for adults. Once you're spraying for adults, people, for some people, one mosquito's too many. Things different, but the pesticide we spray is a low risk pesticide by the EPA. It's got very little residual value. When we're out spraying, we're not spraying the foliage so it stays there and continues to kill indiscriminately. We're specifically spraying the air column at a very low rate into microns to try to get flying mosquitoes to reduce the impact of actual flying mosquitoes that night. The goal is to not have pesticide laying around on foliants to continue to kill. We only spray after sunset to reduce any impact on bees. We're very aware of the pollinator issue. We do what we can to reduce any risk we may present to them. And the pesticides, as I said, that we use for adulticiding is considered low risk by the EPA, and there's very little residual value to them. They break down very rapidly, especially in the sun.
Thank you. Any additional questions from the finance committee?
I have a comment because of the history that we have with Central Mass. Having been a member of the Board of Health for 12 or 13 years, we interacted with them a great deal. They were very responsive to our request to help out with stagnant water wherever it might appear. There was a lot of back and forth over the killing of bees and all kinds of stuff. And I think perhaps the town may have made an unwise decision to get out of the project. I think they offer a good service to the town, and I think that they have evolved in the way they handle stuff. From the pesticides, or the big thing was the bees. that kind of drove us out of it. And people were just crazy, you know, it was like the world was getting covered with DDT every other day or something
Well,
like that.
I mean, you make a
And-
good point. I mean,
and that's changed, as has the opt-out, because that really kind of was begrudgingly offered in a fashion that turned out to not be acceptable. That's changed.
Yeah, I mean, it is my personal opinion that, and I've evolved on this, I guess. But certainly now that I have a full understanding of what the program does, including the early surveillance, testing larvae for positivity, as well as stagnant water removal, I feel like waiting for someone to pop up sick or, God forbid, die, is something that the town should have on its conscience, right? Dan?
Yeah, I just wanted to say there will be some people who will raise concerns around bees and other pollinators, and yeah, the more details you can have about the precautions, I think the better.
sure.
Oh, and what?
We have public comment. Please step up. Don't forget to state your name and address.
Michael Rock, 8 Trinity Ave. Just a quick question about the logistics. So the source control, the monitoring, the prevention, if we opt into CMMP, those all sound very valuable. For the concerns about the, aerial spraying as a insecticide, if a case of WNV or triple E arrives in Grafton, and I'm a virologist, so I care very deeply about those things. To me, it seems like we have missed out on the opportunity for source control. We've missed out on the opportunity to monitor and maintain the horses out of the barn. So is the reflex action in the event of a positive case or test just aerial spraying?
All right. I don't want to say you complicated things,
Right.
but you complicated things. Because when we use truck-mounted sprayers on the back of pickup trucks, that's not considered aerial spraying.
Okay.
That's kind of it reduces the mosquito population as far as we can get down roads and help some residents out. I mean, there's areas of town where it's great in Grafton because there's some areas where residents register their property, they don't want it to be sprayed, and we just don't even have to worry about mapping that area of town because we're not going to go down there, right? But when you're talking about aerial spraying, what happened, and you wouldn't see it in the case of West Nile virus, that I can imagine you would see it when we get triple E. And that's when you have multiple towns generally, and it's generally when it starts showing up in early August because they know that virus has not just August to go through, but September, and it's still warm in October at some point, and you're still going to have live mosquitoes in October. So that virus could grow in August. If we get it like in end of July and in early August, everybody kind of gets a little concerned because where's this virus going to go, and how is if everything dries out and the Melanura population slows down and you're not amplified. That said, once you start getting cases, the state is going to start talking about doing aerial spraying. And when it comes to aerial spraying the mosquitoes, planes in the air, they'll look to me for like some, what do you think? But I'm a really small player when it comes to putting airplanes in the sky because, they've got a mosquito advisory group that's made up of Dr. Sam Telford from Tufts University here in town is a member of it. Rich Pollack from Harvard University. So they would be the ones working with the governor's office and the Department of Public Health, deciding on whether or not they would make a recommendation. And then, honestly, I don't know who makes the final recommendation, but it certainly isn't us.
Yeah, okay. Sam's a great guy.
Yeah.
So from for the perspective of people who think that CMMP is just spraying insecticides, from my lens, the prevention and the monitoring, the source reduction can actually hopefully prevent some of the likelihood of an outbreak of Triple E or WNB,
Right.
making the likelihood of, broad scale insecticidal need to treat this lower.
That's why I think a lot of the stuff we do is proactive. When you talk about West Nile virus, there's a very specific mosquito that amplifies West Nile virus. They breed in catch basins. That's why we're so heavy with our bacterial catch basin program, where we try to get as many of the catch basins in town as we possibly can. We try to cover the whole town during the course of the summer to try to break the cycle, right? And because we know that that's where these mosquitoes are coming from. The problem when you get into Triple E is that habitat that I was talking about, and it's tough to get a larvicide into these crypts to treat the main amplifier of Triple E, which is the Melanura mosquito.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mark, your hand is up?
Are we moving on? I was going to move the question.
Yeah, we need to move on. Thank you. Thank you all very, very much for coming. I really appreciate it, and we will take all of this into consideration when we vote on our recommendations towards the end of the evening.
Thanks to
Thank
Annette
you.
for inviting me. Thank you. Annette.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you guys very much. Okay, so next on our list is Article 21. And whomst do we have?
I think we have Leah. Yeah, there she is. She just popped up.
Hi, Leah. How are you?
Good. How about yourselves?
Thank you so much. Okay, so Article 21 is to see if the town will vote to accept the grant of open space consisting of Parcel A, 3.26 acres of undeveloped land, Parcel B, 0.08 acres of undeveloped land, and Parcel C, 0.12 acres of undeveloped land for 3.46 acres within the Woodland Hill subdivision. Can you go ahead and tell us about this article, please?
Sure. So this is the open space associated with Woodland Hill. It's the subdivision off of Institute Road. The two tinier parcels are basically trail access over to 71 and 81 Rear East Street, which eventually links up with North Grafton Elementary School. And the larger parcel, Parcel A, is houses the vernal pool that folks had a successful big night helping the amphibians cross the road this spring. I did just check in with the assessor's office just to see the amount of tax revenue that these parcels generate. It's a total of $42 a year. They're so small and not buildable.
Good job, Leah.
Thanks.
Okay, $42 a year, non-developable. Any questions from the Finance Committee over this article?
So these are, you said these are like contiguous with other conservation land.
It's town of Grafton land, but
Okay.
yes, it's open woods between this and North Grafton Elementary.
Thanks.
Okay. I think we have no additional questions over that article.
Bring map to town meeting.
Yeah, we'll have a map on hand.
Perfect. We'll have that. Okay. And next is Article 22 to see if the town will authorize the select board to negotiate for acquisition, gift purchase, eminent domain, easements around Merriam Road for the replacement of that culvert.
I can take that one again too.
Yeah. Great, thank you.
So we're working on the project to replace the culvert on Merriam Road. We have the culvert replacement grant in hand. We're working through the design of that replacement, but we will need temporary and permanent easements for the construction and then eventual future maintenance.
Any questions about this article?
Do we have an estimate of cost on this, or is it too early?
It's too early. We're just looking through different designs with the consultant now, so we have to land on one first.
Okay.
How much land are we talking? Like 20 square feet or 25,000 acres?
Like how wide would the easement be?
Well,
Yeah, no, it's it's typical of most culvert projects that we do, which is
Just
very
right around.
small sections of land. Most of them are temporary. There probably will be a couple of permanent, but they're pretty minor in scope. And then residents that, you know, if the residents are compensated for that land purchase.
Yeah, that was kind of the amount I was asking about, not the actual cost, but if we don't know that yet, that's fine.
Yeah, we won't until we have a final design, but I've never been a part of this where we take like an acre of somebody's land. It's
Okay.
always like 20 square feet, or, you know, some other small sliver.
Okay, perfect. So on to Article 23, which is very similar. This is for easements around the replacement of the Shrewsbury Street Railroad Bridge.
Yeah, I think that's it for Leah,
Ooh,
because this one's DPW.
okie dokie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leah.
Thanks, Leah. Appreciate your time tonight. Hi, Paul.
I can take that. I don't think anybody's here from DPW.
I think Paul's on.
On Zoom?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, Bob.
Oh my God.
One of his kids
There'll be no
put him on.
camera. Just,
Look at this.
just my lovely voice. So for everybody that doesn't know, the bridge on Shrewsbury Street, which is Route 140 North, right by the barber shop, Bradish areas, is in dire need of replacement. There's giant holes in the sidewalk that you can see the railroad tracks below. It's going to be a fairly extensive project as far as time goes, just because the railroad tracks cause a real headache for them. And it's the same thing, permanent and temporary easements. Most of the easements there are just temporary because we're gonna do one lane of road. We got to install. It's going to be traffic lights set up for alternating over that bridge during the construction from one side to the other. So should be the same, same as what Leah just spoke about.
Who is doing the work, the bridge replacement?
It's a MassDOT project,
Okay.
so it's not scheduled for. It'll be like late 27 or 28. It's still a ways away. We did a 25% design public hearing or public meeting. I don't know, a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
We're waiting till 27 or 28 and there's holes in the sidewalk.
Oh, they've been there for a while.
yeah,
It's fine. You just get up a good head of steam and
You
jump
just
right over.
take it.
They're
Yeah.
small, but big enough
Yeah.
to see the tracks.
Also, just to note, it's a MassDOT project, so
Yeah,
we do the local easements and partner with them, but it's their project.
That explains the delay.
so that's really it.
Okay. Thank you, Paul.
All right,
Have a great night.
you guys too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, so Article 28, this is for the roof replacement for the middle school, and we are lucky enough to have Jay with us tonight. Hi, Jay. How's it going?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you for coming.
Wasn't sure how you wanted to do this. Want me to give a quick update?
That would be great.
Okay. So we're, as you stated, talking about the Grafton Middle School roof. It's the former high school. It's a 63-year-old building. Just about 80,000 square foot roof in total. Through a grant that Evan and William secured in the early spring of last year, a comprehensive roof assessment for all of our schools was completed. That report was finalized and submitted to us on May 22nd. The most significant issue in that report focused on about half of the roof at Grafton Middle School. The report said the entire roof there needs to be replaced, but I'll read you the quotes. The report stated roughly half of this roof is in dire need of replacement, and the report stated, quote, please know that catastrophic failure and other health dangers are dangerously evident on that roof if replacement is put off any longer. That obviously got my attention and the attention of Evan and Williams. Met with them, came up with a plan to move as quickly as we could. The next town meeting was obviously in October. We put forth an article for roof design services that was generously approved by the town. And we worked as quickly as we could with the goal of having something to put before the town at Springtown meeting. The company that we've been working with has been fantastic. All the snow over the winter certainly didn't help with testing and all that stuff, but they got it done. And that's where we stand today, in a nutshell. And I can answer probably any question you ask.
So you presented three different options, when you first presented this. Would you have a preference for any of those particular options at this point? Just a preference in general, not taking into account what's already.
What I initially presented when I gave an update to the select board was at the very least to do section, you can think of the roof, there are really 8 sections, but you can really boil it down to 4. 3 main sections and 1 connecting center section. The worst 2 sections by far are area H, which is over the classroom. So if you've been there, it's just a square with a courtyard in the middle, 2 stories. That is 100% saturated. That's my biggest concern. Right with that is that center section. Those are all areas that are over classrooms and main hallways. That, if nothing else gets done, that's my number 1 priority. The other 2 sections are over the cafeteria and over the auditorium and gymnasium. They're a lot better than the center section and H, but they need to be replaced as well. So my main priority is to not go into the next school year with H in the center. Thank you, William. You can see any red is bad. So you can clearly see that H section in the centerpiece has the red spots throughout. You don't want a roof that has any of that red. So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question. Of course, I'd like the whole roof to be replaced, but if nothing else, H in the center.
Do you have any idea of what kind of savings we'd get if we did the entire roof now versus those 2 sections now and then the other 2 sections later, and how that would compare to what we might get from the state grant?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll try to answer it concisely. If we can talk about MSBA funding, that possibility. That aside, they quoted the phased-in approach is about $500,000 to $600,000 more than just getting everything on site and doing it all at once. So that's without MSBA funding. If I was told that we have enough funding to do the centerpiece and over the classrooms and had to wait on the cafeteria and the auditorium and gymnasium sections, what I would assume we would do is apply for MSBA funding in the next, they now do it every other year. The next window is January 27. I contacted MSBA. If it was successful, whatever our project was, based on our community, we'd get 50 to 53% reimbursement. The downside, if you will, to MSBA funding is how long it takes. It's a very slow process. Only 1/3 of the projects that have been approved in 2020 are completed right now, and it's obviously 2026. So if you can be really forward thinking, I'm thinking like a decade, 2 decades ahead to get in that pipeline and make that investment into the design services for the different schools or buildings, that makes tons of sense. I'd like to think that we could wait if we get accepted, it's a good 4 years before you start doing the work.
And that's even with the design already complete.
Yeah, I think it would be sped up, but it's very slow. Their timeline has, you apply in January, they don't tell you for 10 months if you're even accepted. And then they really take ownership of the process. They would use our designs, so that's not wasted money, but it's really their show as opposed to what it used to be. It wasn't like a blank check, but it was more, you were compensated for work that the town did.
Okay. If we were to fund either the phased approach or the full approach at town meeting, and then if needed on the ballot, do you have an idea how long it would take before construction could start in process? And all that.
number one goal, and it will be hard pressed to pull it off, but I think we would be able to do the center and H. It would have to be done before school started. Those are the two sections that can't be done when school's in session. We could theoretically do something CAF-wise and make it work, but you can't be right over the heart of the school replacing a roof. That's
So it would have to be a really short bid process and.
Yeah,
almost immediately.
we're ready to go with just about any scenario that you can throw at me.
Okay.
But bottom line is still mid-May, and it's going to be tight.
Kyle?
If we did fund this roof and didn't use the MSBA funding to fund this roof, I'm assuming there are other roofs within the school district
Oh,
system
yeah.
that we could apply or use for the MSBA
Yeah,
funding
well,
for.
100%.
Yeah.
I think when we look town-wide in terms of capital and long-term planning, if we can get really forward-thinking, that's exactly what we should do. You have to, it's not like signing up for like Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
You have to, the town has to approve, say, 400,000, something in that ballpark for the design services, so the town's got to commit to doing it. With the chance that it doesn't get accepted or that MSBA funding disappears in 2 years after we commit. But any way you look at it, we are going to, in the relatively near future, this is pressing. Well, I wasn't shocked if you went to this school in the past 20 years. Oh yeah, it leaked. It leaked as a high school too. So that part wasn't a shocker. The degree of the red, if you will, sure was. North Street Elementary School would be next. South Grafton Elementary School, our oldest building, is North Grafton Elementary, but maybe 5-6 years ago we replaced the roof over the gymnasium that was leaking like a sieve. So we've kind of got that in pretty good shape. So this school and 3 others are right up there.
There's 250,000 in the capital that is not the 1.5 million for GMS roof repair. What's that? Which school is that?
It's chasing everything I just talked to Kyle about. We spent this year alone, and hoping we don't have a really wet spring, of chasing problems that come from not replacing 63-year-old roofs and just patching.
And it was 250.
Yeah.
Yeah, 250. We've spent, I
that
think,
how it-
230 this
I
year.
heard.
Said 280.
Oh, okay. Good. Good.
She said 280.
Okay.
I heard 280.
Which is
I meant
like
250. Sorry.
kind of mix it up with the 2.8. So it was you said it was 2.8 million would be the minimum to do the things that we actually absolutely have to do this summer.
Yep, so that's center section and area H. So I hope that's clear. The latest estimate, this was mid-April, is 2,069,000 at the low end, up to 2.6 million.
And just to be clear, so we had a conversation about funding it at 2.8 million
Right.
because on a great day it comes in at 2 million and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
But you got to have a little bit of buffer for what they say on the high end, because as we've seen with other bids, you know, it wouldn't be unheard of to come in a little high, and we want to have a little padding. Because if we don't need it, we don't spend it. So it's better to have the appropriation now.
Right.
So we're talking about $4 million to replace the cafeteria, the school, the place that used to be Breezeways in between and home ec, and the gym.
Yeah, the whole thing based on the,
Is the 4
same,
million
is a
bucks.
4.2 on the low end to 5.2 on the high end.
Madam Chair. So, so this 4 million is on top of, I'm blanking on the number. There's the amount that's coming out of.
1.5
1.5.
was put into the capital
Okay.
plan, if you will.
And you had proposed, I think, what was being referred to as the alternative capital plan, that would have put, I think, how much was it?
2.8.
And the select board reduced it to 1.5.
Yeah, so just to be clear, I wasn't so much proposing that as offering an alternative.
Right. Yes.
Because
For their consideration.
correct. Yeah, I think that, you know, neither Jay nor I in our conversations about capital want to put anything off that's in our capital plan. But looking at the amount of interest that the town would pay, in those debt schedules that I had sent out, we thought it worth offering an alternative to say, there's some pretty hefty savings over 20 years here, or 15 years. And maybe it's something that the town would want to consider.
And I think given what we've heard here, that this absolutely needs to be done this summer, I think pursuing that is something that would make sense.
Well, the 2.8 would cover the parts that absolutely need to get done.
That's correct.
So if the debt exclusion doesn't pass, then we don't have enough money to do the parts that absolutely need to get done, and then they won't get done.
Right, I'd have to, if area H only, like I'm going, and I think it's what you guys pay me to do as a taxpayer, when I see that quote about a section of, 2 sections of roof, I wanna replace those 2 sections, not one, and see what happens with the other. But, if we had that 1.5 million, we would most likely pursue that area H over the classrooms. That alone the range in terms of the estimate was 1.3 to 1.647.
So
We'd still be
might
short,
not have
but I don't see how we can't. I mean, at some point I've got to sleep.
I mean,
Like,
if it came
We'd
in,
have the extra 150 or 250,000 basically puts 1.75 million in the capital plan. So
If I had
it
to
could be done.
take out the 250 for us to deal with roof issues, but it leaves us exposed.
Yeah.
I mean, when
For any
the
availability.
library at North Street's leaking pervasively, I can't just say, oh, let's wait till the summer.
So the Article 16, I think, is the one for the capital plan. And it says, as generally illustrated in Appendix C.
Yep.
Which is not.
you have appendix C in the back.
Okay. So can that be adjusted? Like if the
Appendix-
select board decides to
Yes.
reconsider this, they can ask you to, okay.
Yep, we can play with appendix C up and until the time we post this to the public.
And after
Like,
that would have to
as
be
a-
amended
as a
on town
official
meeting
posting.
floor.
Yeah.
And what date is that?
Whenever we actually do it.
Oh, I see.
Or no, it's just town meeting.
Well, this has all been officially posted.
Yeah,
With the numbers in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the Appendix C?
yeah,
Yes.
it should be. Yeah, this goes out, this can get changed, but this is part of the warrant.
Yes.
Okay. We talked about this.
Okay.
Call it.
It's apparent.
Hmm?
I said that's apparent.
Yeah.
So I did notice that the Article 16 was written in such a way that it could theoretically be increased and still be within the bounds of the warrant because it says or any other amount. So,
It can't be increased.
why not?
It can only be decreased
Why?
because that's what town council has advised us.
Even though it says or any other amount?
Yes.
Correct. Or any other amount lower than the 4084 specified in the article.
Yeah, that,
We researched this prior to this.
nice try, but I could see them saying, oh, no, you can reduce it, but you can't go over.
I thought that in general, but I thought the or any other amount would allow some flexibility there.
Unfortunately, no.
So we'd have to pull that extra 350,000 from somewhere else in that plan. Or
Right. Or remove any of the existing things that are in Appendix C.
yeah,
Up
that's
to that amount.
yeah.
Yeah, it feels to me like the 1.5 million just seems like a number pulled out of thin air. I don't really see how that is a good number to use here. Especially when if it were just a little bit higher, it would cover Area H. But even then, Area H isn't the only part that critically needs to be done this summer. So if the select board could update this before town meeting, I I would like the finance
can't.
committee to encourage that, but if it can't,
No,
And Mark, your hand is raised as well.
oh, sorry.
Yes, if I can jump in for a quick second.
Apologies, I missed you.
Evan, if I can make a strong suggestion, I've been saying it for the 9 years I've been on the finance committee. The worst thing to do is put a number in a warrant article. I know it's always been Grafton's tradition and nobody wants to listen to me, but when you put numbers in the article, you can never change it, except if you change it down. So I would suggest in the future, we leave the article written to say, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate a sum or sums of money.
Yep.
And don't put the money in there until you do the motion at town meeting.
Yep.
That said, I agree with what Dan said earlier. The decision of the select board a couple of weeks ago was extremely arbitrary. They pulled numbers out of the air without any foresight of thought on how this is going to affect things. So if I can make a recommendation here, we can't change the numbers. We have to go to town meeting with what you have. But if the debt exclusion fails, I would urge the select board to consider calling a special town meeting immediately in June or July to appropriate money out of free cash of the stabilization fund to fix that section of the roof, to supplement the 1.5 million up to the 2.8 million that you need to do that section. We gotta, Evan, don't go on vacation anymore.
no,
That's my
I
advice.
just told you to go on vacation.
It's like the first time I've been out of state in 5 years.
And that, don't do it. You see what happens when you're not around, Evan. So anyway, I would urge somebody to plan for a special town meeting if that debt exclusion fails, because that section of the roof, and Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost catastrophic right now, correct?
Yeah, that's what was stated by the engineers that did the report.
Yeah. So I would urge somebody to start planning for a special town meeting in June if the debt exclusion fails and we can't fix that roof. We'd have to come up with another $1.3 million to do that section, or $800,000 or something to do that section of the roof.
It depends on whether you continue push some of the capital plan items out.
We can always, as part of any special town meeting, we can always adjust the capital plan moving forward to fix that roof if we don't get the override. To me, there's no more pressing matter in town than fixing that roof. I haven't seen anything more important to the town. So that's just my 2 cents.
it seems to me to be exceedingly short-sighted to have what was done, instead of looking at the very least of taking care of what's in the green. Whether we take that out of stabilization or free cash or a combination of both, that's what it's there for, at the very least over the school. It's silly.
So with the Mark's idea of calling a special town meeting if the debt exclusion fails, I'm just be a little worried that might not happen. I think so. We can't change this before town meeting, but we could amend Appendix C.
You can't. You put the numbers are in the warrant article. You can't change the numbers.
Could you change like the total amount? Can't change.
Oh, you mean adjust how the money gets expended?
Yeah. So like move money from
I see what
like
you're
one of
saying.
these other items into the roof.
Gotcha.
Is that an amendment we could make?
Yeah.
It would seem as though you could because of the way it's set up.
So I would think that would be a safer way to ensure that it gets funded, at least for the critical parts. And then
I would agree with you, Dan.
If the debt exclusion passes, I guess it can be kind of up to the select board whether they want to keep the capital, the non-debt excluded funds, and only raise less than the maximum for the debt exclusion, or if they want to use the maximum for the debt exclusion and then reappropriate those other capital funds in October. But I think if we could amend this at town meeting, that would be, I guess, my preference, just to be really sure that it gets, or at least be sure that town meeting gets the chance to consider that as as their choice to make.
And by amend this, you are referring to Article 16.
Yes.
Which is, you would amend the appendix to remove some of the capital expenditures to ensure that we can have a full 2.8 go to.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you go to the plan that was presented to the select board last week, that those changes would leave us $349,000 short of the 2.8 million. So you'd have to cut out another couple things like the lease payments in the MS4 add up nicely, but I don't think those are things we can push off.
Right.
So it would have to be other. There's not a whole lot left.
There's not a whole lot
Yeah.
left because
we can
those are
push.
not, neither of those are,
I mean, it'd be the turf field.
right, but that, the
I know
turf
that's
field
it's
is
critical too.
also
But
not.
I think we would look to push the loader rather than the turf field.
The
Yeah,
loader's
the lo-
already out of that plan.
Right.
Oh, you're looking at you're trying to, I wouldn't recommend doing that either.
I was working.
I would recommend doing what we put together over 6 months. One of the two. Just pick one or the two.
Oh, well,
Stop trying to mess around with every single thing. Let's just pick either the alternate plan or the other plan.
The alternate plan
Put a lot of
removed.
care and effort into
I'm just saying that
these ideas.
Yeah.
we carefully picked the amounts that are coming from each account in order to stay within our fiscal management policy.
Yeah.
And the problem is that we're willing to, I'm willing to push our financial management policy to the extreme or exceed it to not go into more debt to save the taxpayer money. But if you're going to do the 1.5 and then still borrow 4 million or borrow 2 million or do whatever you're going to do immediately after it, we're literally going to break our financial management policy and bond in the exact same year
The loader was your plan.
to take it out.
Yeah.
No, I know that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is,
I don't think we can
we,
go. There's
we,
nothing.
we,
we can
you
go
gotta,
further than that.
both of the plans, either the 2.8 plan or the other plan, and just, you kind of gotta pick one or the other, in my opinion.
Yeah, and since we can't increase the value, I don't think we can't really get to your proposal. So.
Angelina, you had your hand up. You put it down, but I don't know if you still had a comment or question.
I put it up, I put it down, I put it up, I put it down. I'm trying to follow this. I'm having a hard time. So do we not have any flexibility in how much we actually end up bonding? Like if they approve the 4 million, do we have to bond for the 4 million? Or can we, and I apologize, just tell me to stop talking if I'm like throwing something else out there.
Has
But
that always been an option?
What?
Nothing, Angelina.
Fresh on vacation.
Spicy.
Yeah, no. I think, Angelina, that we can bond less. It's essentially, most of our bonding article is written as not to exceed amount.
Yeah.
essentially.
Okay.
You can use any of the funding mechanisms that are in that article.
Okay. Okay, I guess I just didn't understand, like, after watching the meeting, how it shifted the way that it did, to go from borrowing 2.5 to borrowing 4 million, which is just so much more in interest and everything. I don't know. I wasn't in favor of that, so I didn't know if we had any options or this is just all set and now we're just saying either we agree or we don't. Is that what's happening?
Can I ask a question?
You may.
Hey, William or Evan, can you take what's on the screen down and put up the capital plan?
Sure.
The appendix C or whatever that is.
You just have it. Yeah, bringing it up now, Mark.
So Evan, what the select board should have done, I'm going to ask you to do right now. Can you walk us through how you would forget the 4 million, forget the money that's in there, if you had to fund the 2.3 or 2.8 million dollars right now, looking at all of these items sitting here, what would you adjust to get us to that number? So you have 1.5 million for the roof.
Yeah, hold
How
on
would
one
you,
sec,
what
Mark.
would you do?
I have a plan for that, so let us pull that up real quick.
That's what I want to see, because we're all throwing out numbers here, and we should hear from you, the expert, on how you would do this.
All right. This is the alternative plan, correct? Yep. So this is the plan, stripped of essentially everything that we deemed non-critical. I mean, they're all, we're not spending any, our original capital plan didn't project to spend anything that we don't need. But, you know, if push came to shove, we could get by pushing things off for another year. So the non-negotiables, essentially, we would pull out of capital stabilization, the engine one lease payment, which this is the final year of that payment. And then we would replace the turf field at Grafton High. Jay and I have met several times about this and feel that it is very important to do now. It's well overdue. We would then move 1.5 million in free cash to the roof replacement that we've been discussing. We would do 50,000 at Follette Street well. The select board and fire chief added a fire prevention position this year. That fire prevention officer needs a vehicle. That's a $95,000 expense. Station 2 electrical service upgrade at 25,000. Station 3 remodel second floor, 25,000. Roof on Station 3, 140. Roof replacement. This is just the asphalt section of Station 1. About 50 grand. Taser replacement. That's a ongoing project at 21,000. And MS4, 150. And then lastly, 2 cruisers at 127. So we would be spending a total of 2.183 out of free cash, and then taking the rest to fund the roof out of municipal stabilization at 1.3 million. Now we're spending more free cash than we should. The 30% threshold for us, or 33% threshold, is south of 1.2 million. However, it was my approach that, you know, if we were to do this and then pursue MSBA funding and the whole process for the rest of the other 2 portions of the roof, we wouldn't be bonding for probably 4 years to 5 years. We don't have anything else that we're going to go out to bond for at least 2 to 3 years, given when the fire trucks come due and all the rest of it. So I think that would give us enough distance when we got on our bond rating call to say, you know, we had this extreme case and we had to use more than we normally would, but every other year's been congruent. So that was my reason for pitching this the way that I did.
All right, so Evan, does Article 16, as it's currently drafted with the funding listed in there, forget Appendix C.
Yep.
Does that article have the money in there to allow you to do this plan?
No.
Not quite. I'd have to make some. I mean, I could do it.
It's $349,000 short.
Right. I would.
So
I
okay,
could
so
make-
out of these issues, where would we get the 349?
It's an excellent question, Mark.
Well, they said the part of the roof that you could do was 2 to 2.6.
Right.
Would that give you enough to start if we cut?
Yeah. That was my thought. Is we would.
Okay, so
we
that's
would
excellent.
reduce
So
the municipal stabilization request to match the number on the warrant. You
So
know what I'm
what can the finance committee do on the floor of town meeting to amend Article 16? Let the Article 20, whatever the article is with a $4 million debt exclusion, that goes forward regardless, right? Because you already have it on the warrant, you already have it on the ballot. So, but just to have a backup plan, and we can adjust, should the debt exclusion pass, we can always adjust the capital funding in the fall. You just hold off on spending money for 6 months, right? Or 4
Right.
months or whatever it is.
Right.
So what can the finance committee do at town meeting to get up to amend Article 16 to provide the fallback plan for if the debt exclusion fails. Because that I would recommend to the finance committee that we make that our motion, or we get up to amend the motion on the floor of town meeting to allow this plan to go forward. Does that make sense to everybody?
That was my plan coming in.
Offer a
Great
substitute
minds, Greg.
motion right
Great
off the
minds.
bat.
Okay, but just to go back to Evan's point here, are you concerned about us pulling this much out of free cash and bonding the rest of that 2.7 in the same year?
Yeah, I don't, there's no way around it.
Sure.
So I have a, yeah, there's no way around it.
Okay.
So if we were to take
I mean,
this,
beyond just bonding the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right.
if we were to take 349,000 out of municipal stabilization and present this as our amendment, that would fit.
No, we have to stay within whatever the numbers are.
Yes, that's
in
why
Article
taking out the
16.
349,000.
That does it?
Yeah.
Then I think that's what the finance committee should do on the floor of town meeting, because you have to present the article. The main motion has to be what was presented in the article. So then we can get up and offer an amendment to do this plan.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we should do.
So that would be an amended Appendix C.
Yeah, we would have to present an amended Appendix C as our motion to amend the main motion.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I think we should do. So can I make a motion right now that we do that?
Second.
No.
We have.
Can somebody please, for the love of God, mute Skip's microphone?
Well, we have a motion to amend Article 16, the appendix of the capital expenditure plan, and a second. Do we have any discussion on the motion?
I think the motion would be to present on town meeting floor an amended articles.
That's my motion.
C.
Yes.
So, Evan, since this is your thing, would you be okay with us presenting something like that, or would you have issues that it would cause?
So my board has voted a plan. So you folks can do what you want to do. I will execute either one to the best of my ability.
Okay. I was more like, do you see that there would be problems in that plan that would cause you headaches later that we should deal with? But I think that's good enough.
Okay, thank you.
Angelina's got her hand up.
sorry.
Sorry. Angelina, go ahead.
So if we did that, do we then have the option to not bond for the rest of the roof and to handle it differently? Like
You
handle it
you
for
wouldn't bond
MSBA
if
or whatever.
the authorization of the $4 million. The select board doesn't have to borrow all of that money. They have the authorization up to that amount of money. They can put out a bond issue for 2.3 million, even if they
Right.
have a $4 million authorization. So
But there's an issue with bonding after taking this much out of free cash. So will we be able to just use this money to fix the worst part of the roof and then deal with the rest of it after? Or do you know what I mean?
It seems like the appetite from most people is to do the whole thing at once.
Yeah.
So I think that regardless of, at this point, we're gonna take a hit to our bond rating. So I think that, we just,
Evan, the financial advisors told you that if you bond money and you exclude it from Proposition 2.5, it's going to affect your bond rating. That makes absolutely no sense,
so,
because you're able
no.
to raise that money.
No, what I'm saying is we're using more than 1/3 of the free cash we have on hand.
Oh, I got you.
And so in doing that, again, if we weren't going to bond for 4 or 5 years, by the time we get to the bond rating call, that's all very far in the rear view. But going from the bond, we're literally going to do this at town meeting and then bond the following year. That's pretty much right on top of each other. Is what
Gotcha.
was what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
So I was kind of viewing this as a fallback in case the debt exclusion is not approved. We would still have the option, if everything is approved, to bond more of that and not take as much free cash.
Yep, you could
Okay.
certainly do that.
You would have to take that out of order at the town meeting then.
Right.
No, I'm just saying, if everything gets approved, then we can choose to use less free cash and bond more. As long as we're within the limit of the article.
But we will be amending the
Offering
capital
different-
plan specifically.
Right.
So I don't know if we will have the opportunity to move capital plan around, like we will have specifically said.
Yeah, you've already said, if you pass Article 16, that this is the way it's gonna go.
I think there's still some freedom in there, but that's for the professionals to figure out what is most appropriate there.
Trying to do this piecemeal is gonna cost a lot of money too, over and above.
Yeah, I mean, my original thought, and there's been a lot of conversation since my original thought, was that you spend the 2.8 million for the center section, you do the MSBA route, you get awarded the money. If costs go up by $500,000 between now and then, the 53% that we get from MSBA more than covers that. That was my original thought process before I made any other changes. It seemed like a great idea at the time.
Still is. Still
Yeah.
is.
So
I'm concerned about the bond rating hit.
I was going to ask about that. Is there a way to do the whole roof now that doesn't cause a hit to our bond rating?
No, because we'd have to borrow the full amount. Like that's the way to do it, is to exclude the full amount or bond the full amount if we had capacity in our regular operating budget, and keep the free cash usage that we had in the original capital plan to that one. It's like 1.17, I think, is what I had calculated to come out of free cash. That would be the way to absolutely preserve everything that we have currently. That said, I mean, we can't not do this,
Yeah.
Right.
right? I think we're all in agreement that this has got to be done. So, it's antithetical as a town administrator. I mean, I work real hard to get the bond rating to where it is. But if that's the sacrifice that gets made to get this roof done over the summer with the time that we have, maybe that's okay too.
Okay.
So if we left everything the way that it currently is in Appendix C, and the debt exclusion passes, will that also be a hit to our bond rating?
Mhm.
Okay, so
All right. So then.
the decision we're making isn't going
the
to
only
cause that.
plan that I've proposed or that I've seen, even that I haven't proposed, that protects our bond rating unequivocally, is the original capital plan that I have that's in here. That is in here minus the roof money, right? So it's 26 capital requests for $2.584 million. That we very carefully calculated how much money is coming out of each account to be congruent with us trying to get to that next AAA bond rating. If we're not going to do that, or some stripped down version of that keeps us below spending 33% of our available free cash, then I don't think that it matters a whole heck of a lot
Gotcha.
as far as to the impact that we're going to see.
How long is that gonna affect the bond rating? Would you think?
5 years to 7 probably. I don't know,
Yeah.
Mark, if you have a different take on that.
It depends on how often you go out to go out to bond.
That's a good point.
Right.
Yep.
Is that, if we go out to bond one time 6 years from now, then they're going to look at that because they've got nothing else. If we
Exactly.
bond 4 more times in the next 6 years, ancient history. We're on
Exactly.
to the next thing. Yeah.
The more often you go out, the better chance you have of repairing anything you do now.
Yeah.
So let's come up with some ideas to
Yeah.
spend more money. That was
We
a
do have
joke.
two
I was
approved
making a
fire
joke.
engines, so.
Yeah, exactly.
It's coming.
Yeah, not a problem.
I don't. Was the issue with the bond rating discussed with the select board at all?
I mean, I watched the meeting. I wasn't in attendance, but I didn't see that come up.
There was, no.
So
We gotta fix the roof, Dan. We gotta fix the roof. We don't have a choice. The bond rating is something we should be worried about, but we need to fix the roof. So let's come up with a plan that allows us to fix the worst portion of the roof if the debt exclusion fails.
Yeah, so it's kind of amend Appendix C.
Kind of amend Appendix C.
Yeah, which is the
Motion.
active motion right now.
And how does that interact with whether the debt exclusion passes or not?
The question on the ballot does not have a dollar amount associated with it.
Well, I mean, as far as us presenting an amended Appendix C.
It doesn't change the amount, it just changes what we are spending, what we are recommending that they spend it on.
But it will commit us to spending.
If the debt exclusion passes, say our amendment passes, but then the debt exclusion passes as well. Evan's not gonna spend the extra money that we just set aside in the capital plan on the things that we set it aside for. He will wait until the fall and then adjust the capital budget if the debt exclusion passes. If the debt exclusion fails, then Jay and Evan are gonna be able to fix the worst portion of that roof with this plan. And that's what we need to do.
Right.
And that's what the select board should have done when they discussed it 3 weeks ago, instead of just arbitrarily coming up with $1.5 million. Move the question.
Yep. Second.
Okay, so we are voting on moving the question?
Nah, just go right to the,
Have you
Withdraw your
They
second.
withdraw the motion.
Withdraw second.
Okay, all right, so let us vote on, the motion, which is to, on the floor of the town meeting on May 11th, the finance committee will move to amend the Appendix C, which is associated with Article 16, the capital plan, to remove $349,000 from the original amended capital plan to meet this 4.084 in order to fully fund half of the roof. That's technically correct.
Yes.
Okay, Mark,
yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Angelina,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Samir, Skip,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Victoria is aye. That motion passes unanimously. Okay, so we will, Evan, perhaps ask for your help in drawing up a fresh spreadsheet, which is essentially the old spreadsheet you sent us in that email. And I will make that motion on the floor when we reach Article 16.
Yeah, so can we have, Victoria, can we ask Evan to have town council draft the exact motion we should be making so that we get it right?
Is that a reasonable ask?
Yeah.
Thank you, Evan.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
Really appreciate you.
I'm looking forward to after town meeting when Jay and I can go back to talking once a month. Not that I don't love you.
You love each other, and I know it. Okay. Our next full list of articles is from the CPC. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we? Welcome.
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, thanks for hanging in there.
It will be quick.
Thank you.
I feel like after this, everything is gonna just go flying by. Okay, so Article 10, our CPC appropriation consent agenda article.
These are standard warrant articles that we do every year. We have administrative expense and then the 10% set asides for historic resources, affordable housing, open space. And then we do a budgeted reserve as well.
And these numbers are all essentially the same as previous years, or have there been any
The,
major changes?
the 10%
They're
are
cal-
based on.
Yeah, they're calculated in the same way every year.
Perfect.
Great.
Okay, Article 11, which is just your 18th of 20 principal payments on the Pell Farm Bond.
It's the same.
Yeah, same guy.
It's going down a little bit each year.
We love that. Article 12, again, it's a bond payment, and this one is on the restoration of the Grafton Townhouse.
Same.
Excellent. 13, this is also in consent agenda number 2. This is for the Affordable Housing Trust.
Yes, it basically empties the reserve into the trust.
Which gives them access to the money immediately. If there's a project that they need, they don't have to wait for the next town meeting.
No questions on that guy? Perfect. Okay, so Article 25. This is for the restoration of those 8 original prints.
Yes, they're Currier knife prints that have been discovered, and Skip can speak to it probably a lot better than I can, but it's kind of
I have to
little
leave while
museum.
this discussion's going on.
You can recuse yourself.
Where are those located?
Yeah.
Right now, they're in a vault in Maynard.
In what?
Maynard.
Okay.
They have been hanging at the fire station for, well, since 1873.
Okay.
As far as we can tell. They have certainly been there since I got on the department in 77, and through the
1877?
So they
1777.
so I went back and found the purchase of, what did it say? Purchase of pictures to hang in the station in 1873 in one of our predecessor associations. And through the research that we've had done, that matches what those would have been available for commercially, along with some others. And examinations of the paper in the docket, in these things outside of their frames, they're authentic and originals. The first one is from 1854, and it goes up to like 1868 that they were printed, and they're from
cool.
2 different series. But having seen them hanging on the walls at the fire station, an absolute minimum amount of light has damaged them, but not like you would normally see. They're a little bit yellowed, so stuff that was blue is a little greenish hue and stuff like that. But once you see them outside the old frames, because it's the old glass with the waves in it and the little bullseye thingies and stuff like that, they're amazing. So we would like to have them restored. That there's some acid damage to them from the like cardboard or whatever they were matted in. And have the frames restored a little bit. I was kind of thinking I was going to be able to do frames myself, but as soon as they looked at the frames, it started talking about what the finishes were. I don't know how to apply a beeswax finish to wood or anything like that. It's okay, yeah, I guess they didn't have polyurethane back in the 1870s. So that was out the window. So the frames and pictures need to be preserved and restored, and a new, like, glass put in them for low E or that kind of stuff.
So this was in the center fire station?
No, it was in North Grafton.
Okay. Will they be going back there afterwards, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
They might travel about in other places in town, and we have 5 of 6 of the original. They're like 2 series of them: Life of a Fireman and American Fireman, or something like that. There are several museums that tend to display these things. In it kind of gets out that there's 5 of 6 of the set that are available, we might get approached to loan them to a museum or something to display them there for a while. So it's kind of neat, but and we
Okay, that's
have a couple of Ms. Roy was very nice and helped us out and put together a little slideshow or presentation for the town meeting, but there's a couple of pictures of them that were taken.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. Yes, Dan.
Who owns the prints? Is it the town?
Well, possession's 9/10 of the law. Seeing as how one of our predecessor associations, in particular the Emperor Hose Company number 2 of Grafton, bought them to the best of anyone's record keeping, I guess we would. You know, I don't know who else. It's not the town really, because I don't think that association. They're looking back through some other stuff that I have done. It wasn't a name for the branches of the fire department. They were associations, much like the one that we have now. We have a nonprofit that we run the golf tournaments and fundraising and pay for scholarships and that kind of stuff out of. So
So by we, you mean like the firefighter association?
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I mean, there was that, whatever the name was I gave you. Then they dissolved and became the Henry Crippen Fire Association, and
Of course.
blah 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 blah.
Sorry.
Well, we're going back 160
Heather,
years.
your hand is raised.
I just have a question. If they're not technically ours, can we be spending money on them?
Yes.
Okay.
The historical commission discussed this and sent a letter of recommendation to purchase them based on the historical significance to the town and to the fire department. And that's all that's required for CPA to fund a non-town owned project. We've done this with the Historical Society. We've done this with the Nipmunks. We don't own those assets. We've done it with other, the couple of the churches on
Yeah,
Common.
the church column
that it's
restoration
okay.
and all that good stuff.
It's an accepted practice.
Cool. Okay, any other questions on the prints? Okay, so we'll move on to Article 26. This is for the bikeway feasibility planning.
The hope is that we won't have to spend this full amount. They came in asking for, I think, $5,000, and they were gonna get a grant from the state. And again, kind of like with the roof, you don't wanna find out that you don't get the grant. And then what do you do with $5,000? Nothing, the project dies. So I said, what if we allow up to the full amount, and then if you get the grant, we only spend the 5. So either way, the project goes forward.
Because CPC funds are always last.
Right. That's our policy. It's
Yeah.
not a state.
Right.
And that's very self-motivated. We want to keep as much of our money for
Who is sponsoring this?
the planning.
It's now my office.
Okay.
We don't have a town planner right now.
Okay.
Well, we do, but he hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it'll be a combination of us at town meeting to explain the project should we need to.
Okay. So it is a town thing, not an
Yes.
outside.
No, it's a town thing. Well, it's a town thing. We're working with the Blackstone Valley. It's not coalition. There's like 5 different Blackstone Valley groups that are very similarly named, but it's we've had meetings with them, looked at different routes, looked at different approaches, and so that's what this helps fund.
The goal is the Blackstone River Valley National Heritage Corridor is trying to piece together land all the way from Worcester to Providence. Rhode Island's done. Mass has been, since I've lived here for 30 years, has been trying to cobble together these pieces, and there's, almost to Sutton, I think, it goes to Millbury, and then this is gonna give us a little more, extension through Grafton. So the more that the towns can do, the faster this project in Mass will get finished, because there's no money or not significant money from the state to do it. Even though it's a great project, it's just gonna take a long time, and this is a really good, chunk, and right in the middle of the valley to further the project.
Nice. Okay.
And we bought the land with CPC money at the last meeting, and so this kind
That
of,
was that 430.
it was fortuitous that this turned out to be, helpful for this grant project.
Okay, any additional questions on this feasibility study piece? Great. I think we're all set with CPC. Thank you guys. Really appreciate you coming in and your patience as we tackle a fun one. Okay, so that means we are at Article 20, which is Blackstone Valley. Oops.
This is their most recent
Yeah, I can.
amount from.
Yep, so this is, that they came and spoke to you folks, this
Yep.
is that exact dollar amount. You'll notice that there is no debt, excluded debt in this particular warrant article. This article is what their council, or they submitted to us, or we had it reviewed by council. It's congruent with how we always do it.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Perfect. Seeing no questions on that, as we did have a good conversation with those folks earlier. On to Article 5. This is to see if the town will appoint a new member, Bridget Weber, to the trustees of Nelson Park.
I believe that is a renewal.
Yep, correct. She's already been serving for the previous, more than one term, but I don't remember how many terms off the top of my head.
Great. Article 1, okay, so now just into sort of the rote-ish consent agendas. Does anybody have any discussion on moving $10,000 to fire retirement?
Something Grafton's been doing for decades.
Article 2, this is moving our usual 300 some odd into OPEB trust. Any questions there?
So this is the one that you just start. Was it last year that was first
Correct.
one?
Yep, this is the second year of our OPEB funding plan.
Which is genius.
Thank you. It's all Mary.
Mary, you're a genius. Article 3, this is just moving free cash for FY26 adjustments. Any questions there? Do we?
So there, it's in the explanation
It's in the-
period. It's a total of 858,000, which is more than we would generally be moving.
Yeah.
Part of that is the tremendous amount of snow that we got this year. So that's we were over our snow and ice budget by $290,000. Second piece is sanitation. So as you, I'm sure remember, we're switching to an enterprise fund. We in the Municipal Solid Waste Committee had robust discussions about how to fund this enterprise fund. One of the things that we knew would happen is that people would buy bags now as opposed to later, which is gonna make the first year of the program difficult. And this covers the increase of bag sales that we saw because we're running out of. Well, we're not running out of bags. We've covered the bags, but we need to backfill the funds. And then lastly, and this was a big hit, and it may not be done. Health insurance moving $448,000 to cover our deficit. So our deficit is somewhere between 448,000 and 1.1 million.
Oh.
We have a lot of work left to do accounting wise with run out claims and all the rest of it. And so this funds a portion of that.
So I said there'll be probably another article in the fall, or maybe end of year transfers.
Yeah, we're working our way through that. We're being cautious because we want to make sure that the accounting is correct, obviously.
Yeah.
But also, run out claims can take up to, we've seen 2 to 3 years on run out claims. So You know, I don't think this is something that will be going away necessarily, rapidly. But hopefully with our new involvement with GIC and the prospect of not having any deficit possibility, that'll be better.
Okay. Article 4, to hear the reports of several town officers.
Mhm.
Is this where we would do the state of the town? I think that's how we did it last year, was as part of this.
That's right.
Okay.
Article 6.
That's just accepting the chapter 90 money
Yep.
and appropriating it for use.
Okay. Article 7, selling surplus.
Yep, standard.
We have anything?
Huh?
Gonna sell anything?
Well, we don't have to put it in the warrant. You just authorize us to do it later.
Oh, okay.
Like the old police
Yeah,
thinger.
all kinds of. We put stuff up on Municipid with some regularity.
Municipid.
That's
Yep.
so fun. Let us know so we can start buying stuff from you.
You could go on there. There's some really cool stuff. I'm always on.
I
My
could.
wife's like, you're not driving to Texas to get an articulated loader. It's not gonna.
No.
I'm like,
And then you drive it
it's
back.
a steal.
Yeah, you gotta drive
No,
it
you
back.
fly to Texas and you drive it.
That's right. That's right.
Where's her sense of whimsy? Article 7, just letting everybody. Oh no, that's 8.
That's
Article
surplus.
7. Oh right, surplus. I put my note on the wrong thing. Okay. Article 8 is just letting everyone utilize their revolver
Yep.
accounts.
No major changes to that. The 53 and a half, E and a half.
There was a big discussion on whether there should be consent agenda and whether it requires big discussion. I think it's exactly the same as last year. All
Yeah,
numbers.
Mary, did we change anything on there? No?
No numbers have changed.
Okay.
9 is just funding the WRTA for elder transport.
Correct.
Should be relatively non-controversial.
Please stop jinxing us.
Yeah.
You're right. My bad.
It's still on the consent agenda and hopefully we'll stay there.
Hopefully.
Okay, Article 14. This is the balanced level spending budget.
Do you want me to go through it again?
No, thank
No.
you.
Okay.
And then Article 15 is the contingent budget.
Yep. The contingent budget is also the same as the last time I presented it.
Great. So no new surprises or anything that's worth bringing there. You're just going with.
So the contingent budget remains just the admin and planning conservation, part-time building inspector, engineering, assistant engineer, rec, Silver Lake Beach, library 75,000, and 1,004,000 back into the school.
Yep.
budget.
That's
we-
exactly what
Which
it's been.
Yeah. Just back to the previous one for a second. We haven't done anything with expected revenue from Chapter 70 because of the House budget proposal.
Yeah, so I mean, we're tracking it. We have a budget that reflects it. It's not this budget.
Okay.
So, cause it
Because it can change.
Yep, it can change. So again, we could always do something in the fall, or there's a myriad of other options that we may have. The only thing I will note that I think is confusing for the general public is that if we pass the override, we'd use $1,114,000 of the override, but the contingent budget is 1.3 million. Right, those numbers are different, obviously. The reason we would do that is that if we didn't secure the override, we would just leave the budget as it is. But we do have some capacity in the budget, knowing that BVT and everything else, fiscal 28, 29, 30, and so on. So we're leaving ourselves a little bit of cushion having that news and not, chasing the dollars all the way back down. But if we get the levy capacity raised, then we just close that gap, and so that's the 1.1. So Okay.
And that 1.1 could come down if the 160 per student
Yep.
goes through. as
Correct, yeah,
opposed to the
yeah, because we only
75.
spend what we've, the revenue side can change all at once, the
Yeah.
expenditure side stays the way it is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, one thing I see odd is people say we're voting on two different budgets, and we're voting on a budget and a conditional appropriation, so. I
Right.
think that's something to point out, is like, yeah, that's why it's only 1.3 million, it's only the things that we will put back in if the override passes.
Right.
And you're gonna have a presentation.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Article 16, the capital. We
I think we've covered.
already
Yeah, we
talked
did.
through this guy.
Yep.
The enthusiasm. I love it. It's only 8:45, you guys. Article 17. This is for sewer enterprise fund.
Yep.
Regular, schmegular.
Yep,
Yep.
no major changes or surprises there.
Article 18 is the waste management enterprise.
Yep, same as we've been discussing, so the budget for that is 1.285 million. We think our revenue is gonna be a little soft on that, hence the transfer.
Could have had purple bags.
We talked about it, and we decided that, people are going through a lot, and so we'll stick with what we got.
It's fair.
So this will be entirely funded, other than the 120,000 from earlier, entirely funded by bag fees. At least
Yep.
that's the expectation.
Once, yes, and so I'll go back to what I had said when we were doing the original presentation to the select board, which is year one especially, be very hard to budget.
Yes.
So, we have to understand that we may be moving some free cash around or doing something else to try to get this to stabilize.
Sync up.
Yeah. We did our best estimate, but
Yep.
see what happens. People were given trash bags for Easter and stuff, so
Oh.
I think we might be in a little bit of trouble.
Okay.
I have one
Oh,
question on this.
so sorry, please.
How much does it cost to run a transfer station?
Well, first you go back to 1950 and open it, and then you go. No, I don't know, Skip. I've never run one. It seems like most of the towns that have them have had them for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's not inexpensive. I don't know that if you were going to start one today, I don't think that you would see any real savings from curbside.
Yeah.
The only benefit to it is that, people. Well, the only benefit to it is that people have a little more freedom to choose which times they're gonna get rid of their refuse and stuff. I know. I did do a little bit of research into this, not in this community, in a previous community, because it comes up a lot. People are like, "Let's just go back to a transfer station." I remember having a transfer station, and it was awesome. But between the equipment and the staff and the hours and the insurance, and now you also can't create a facility now that, like before, you would just put some concrete block out and collect stuff into dumpsters, and now you have to have impervious surface, stormwater management plan, right? It's a whole different.
Same thing
ballgame.
as
So
side to side.
I was only being somewhat facetious about going back to 1950, because in 1950 you could have built a transfer station that would still be probably economically feasible today.
Yeah.
But building one from scratch, I'm gonna tell you, I think is not gonna touch what we have for curbside.
Do you mean the quarry's not still open?
No.
I know Westboro recently, I think it was last year, went to you must drive your stuff to Harvey. So I wonder if that's something that could be an option in a future contract, is if people wanted to save some money by driving their own, if they could do that, but I don't know what the logistics of that would be.
Yeah, I
was-
think that's also a kind of a side agreement that they have with
Yeah.
Westboro, and talking to because I did have conversations during the trash club days. I talked to Christy over in Westboro quite a bit about their model, because some people had just said, let's just do away with curbside. People can either bring it to Westboro or get their own hauler, and then you don't have to worry about it at all. But there are obviously inherent problems with that model as well. So I was
Lots
talk
of people
to
that don't have vehicles that can transport.
Yeah, and then you get more, refuse
put
on
it-
the side of the road and
Right,
public
okay.
dumping and, I mean, that's always a tactic that you hear a lot when people don't wanna make changes to trash, is that you're gonna see this huge spike, and in my experience, I've never seen it actually be a huge spike, but I think if you were gonna delete curbside altogether, you probably would.
That would
That seems like a scenario to me that would drive public dumping.
And the bags are really not that expensive when you do the math.
It's comparable.
And think about the price of the bag versus the price of the roll.
Yep.
Like the price of the roll feels big because the people are thinking about one bag, but when you really do the math, it's not that expensive. Like compared to contracting every household doing their own,
Yep.
separate contract. This is definitely saving money.
Yep, and just not to go down that rabbit hole too far, but there's no mandate in Grafton that you have to use Harvey as a hauler. You could get your own contract tomorrow and have a different hauler come and do your curbside.
There are some people that do.
Yep, there are.
Because they come by my street.
Yep, it
There are
happens.
some people for where it will make sense because they generate enough trash.
Right.
So.
Yep, correct.
Okay, excellent.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Trash Club is very exciting. I get it.
I had a great time.
Article 19, cable.
Yeah, no,
Standard.
literally, it's absolutely standard. I don't even think we changed the salary lines.
And Article 27, abandoned funds. Also standard, correct?
No, this is new. Mary, do you want to talk about it, or you want me to talk about it?
I can talk about it.
Sure.
This warrant article would allow the municipality to accept the local option provisions of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 200A, Section 9A, regarding unclaimed funds. Under the current law, unclaimed funds held by the municipality are typically reported and remitted to the state treasurer after the required holding period. However, if we accept Chapter 200A, Section 9A, and comply with the notice and reporting requirements outlined in Chapter 60 and Chapter 200A, Section 9A, the municipality may retain those unclaimed funds locally instead of remitting them to the Commonwealth. So this will help us if we foreclose on a property and no one has claimed that property, we would hold those until such time, and then we could just claim them under the town.
Sounds like a creative way to get some revenue.
I genuinely thought we already did this.
So this is unclaimed funds as opposed to now foreclosing on property?
Yeah, this is not tax title, correct, Mary? This is,
Yes, it would be tax title it could be tax title properties. It could be, checks. We have vendor checks, that's unclaimed property as well. So we wouldn't have to turn over those funds to the state either.
How much are we thinking per year that this could potentially bring in?
So we do tailings once a year, and that's about anywhere from 20 to 50,000 of unclaimed checks.
so rather than send that to the state of the Massachusetts, we're able to recover that into the general fund, which then becomes free cash.
Right. We do post it on our website. Like if the value is more than $100, we have to post it for a full year.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Yeah, so there's rules that
On
and
the-
laws that we comply with.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone. Mary, do we post that? We post that on the website?
Yes.
Where do we post it on the website?
Treasurer Collector's Office.
Yeah.
Their department page.
So this isn't the money that kind of goes to the Find Mass money? Because that seems to hang out there forever and a day. Whereas this sounds like after a year you can just take it.
Yes.
It's kind of weird that the state doesn't just take that other money either.
Right. Yeah, I don't know the
Yeah,
legislation.
'cause they always talk
around
about,
there.
you know, it's like there's $4
Fine mass
billion
money, yeah.
worth of unclaimed funds and fine mass money.
I literally just heard the commercial in my head.
I know.
It just,
Yep.
Oh, well.
Yep. That's that.
Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mark,
Yes.
Heather,
Sorry, yep, here.
thank you.
Couldn't get the mute.
Dan?
Yeah.
Greg?
Yes.
Samir?
yes.
Skip?
Yes.
Kyle?
Aye.
Victoria says aye. I believe Angelina has lost us. We have lost her. That motion passes. The public hearing is closed. Thank you guys very much. Okay, so now on to the, I'm staring at Evan, sorry, he's like, don't look at me. On to the very quick and never tedious recommendation piece for the 27 articles.
We need to vote on articles first. Yeah. We can recommend.
I move that we, support the passage of all of the articles on the 2 consent agendas.
Second.
Do I hear, there's a motion to approve, to recommend all of the 2 consent agenda articles. Do I hear any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mark?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Samir?
Yes.
Skip?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
Victoria's aye. That motion passes unanimously. Okay. Let me get back to my notes here so I can just follow along with myself. Okay. So that's articles 1 through 13. Article 14. Do we hear a motion?
Move we support as written.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mark?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Samir?
Yes.
Skip?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
Victoria is aye. That motion passes unanimously. Article 15. Do I have a motion to...
So moved.
Second.
Excellent.
As written.
To recommend the article as written. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mark?
Yes.
Heather?
Yep.
Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Samir?
Yes.
Skip?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
Victoria's aye. That motion passes unanimously.
For Article 16, we've already made a
Vote.
vote to amend it. Do we want to just say that we intend to submit?
I think our motion to amend is our recommendation. So I think
Yep.
we should just say Finance Committee plans on amending
Yeah.
Article 16.
How with that?
I'm good with that.
Me too.
Move to approve Article 17 as written.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mark?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Samir?
Yes.
Skip?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
Victoria's aye. That motion passes unanimously.
Move to approve Article 18 as presented.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mark?
Yes.
Heather?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Samir?
Yes.
Skip?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
Victoria says aye. That motion passes unanimously.
Move to approve Article 19 as presented.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mark?
Yes.
Heather?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Samir?
Yes.
Skip?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
Victoria's aye. That motion passes unanimously.
Move to approve Article 20 as presented.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mark?
Yes.
Heather?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Samir?
Yes.
Skip?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
Victoria, aye. That motion passes unanimously.
Move to approve Article 21 as
Second.
presented.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mark?
Yes.
Heather?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Samir?
Yes.
Skip?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
Victoria's aye. That motion passes unanimously.
Move to approve Article 22 as
Second.
presented.
Motion and seconded. Do I hear any discussion on the motion? Seeing none. Mark?
Yes.
Heather?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Samir?
Yes.
Skip?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
Victoria's aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Move to approve Article 23 as presented.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mark.
Yes.
Heather.
Aye.
Dan.
Aye.
Greg.
Aye.
Samir.
Yes.
Skip.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Victoria's aye.
I'm not going to make the next motion because I'm in favor of that article, and I'm going to have a feeling that most of you aren't. So, somebody else wants to make a motion on that one, I'll step aside for a second.
Do we want to discuss before motion, or do we?
They raised a very good point. Worry about mosquitoes in the town of Groton. We had a big problem. 9 years ago, I brought it to town meeting and I asked to be removed because we had a budgetary problem, and we removed it. We haven't had a problem since. If there was a triple E problem or the other one there,
West
a
Nile
problem.
West Nile.
Thank you. The state came in and sprayed the town. So it's a tight budget year. I know Evan said he can handle it, and I applaud him, but $89,000 is a teacher. So I think that's more important. So I changed my mind. I'm going to make the motion. I move we recommend Article 24 as presented.
Second.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Dan.
Yeah, I think the early detection that they do and the preventative work that they do, I think is worth the money. Tripoli has as we were told, has a 30% mortality rate, and the other 70% don't do too well. So, yeah, I'm not in favor of this article or the motion on the floor.
So
What?
I'm in favor of presenting it to the voters. Personally, I do not recommend it.
I agree. I'm not upset that it's on the warrant, but I don't recommend it. A human life, $89,000. That's real. It triply kills folks.
Feel the same way.
That discussion almost killed me. So
Mark is pro mosquito. So.
I'm pro mosquito.
Mark,
yes.
we rarely get to get bug and virus nerds into a FinCom meeting.
Oh,
so
I
thought
know. It was the greatest 32 minutes of my life. I will have to tell you.
And how many seconds?
36.
I appreciate the presentation. I think they make a lot of good points. I think I share Mark's point of view where it's a tough budget year, and in things that we're looking to trim and cut and trying to be the most responsible. I think that is. I mean, we don't even know if there's. Yeah, I'll just leave it there as a matter of fact. So I think it's good to be put in front of the voters as an option.
Fair.
Yeah, put it in front of the voters, but I don't agree with repealing it personally. But not my choice alone to make.
But it is the Finance Committee's choice to say whether or not we recommend it. So if there's no further discussion.
So this motion would be to recommend it.
Yes.
If it
That's my
doesn't-
motion.
Yep. If it doesn't pass, we would have another motion for a.
Different.
No, if the motion to recommend doesn't pass, that means we're not recommending it. We don't need to do a second motion.
Well, the wording that we've used on the recommendations has been Finance Committee opposes passage. So I think we would want a motion.
Oh, I got you. You're right. I'm sorry, Greg and Dan, you're right. I apologize. Let's get to this 6-2 vote.
I think we're good on discussion.
Yeah. All right, perfect. The motion on the floor is that the Finance Committee recommends as written. Mark.
Yes.
Heather.
Yes.
Dan.
Nay.
Greg.
Nay.
Samir.
No.
Skip.
No.
Kyle.
Aye.
And Victoria is no. That motion fails 5-3.
I move the Finance Committee recommends I move the Finance Committee opposes passage of this article, and we'll elaborate in that in the explanation.
Second.
Motion and second to oppose the article as written. Any further discussion?
No.
Mark?
No.
Heather?
No.
Dan?
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Samir,
Yes.
Skip,
Aye.
Kyle,
Nay.
and Victoria's aye. That motion passes 5-3.
Motion to approve Article 25 as
I volunteer
presented.
to write that.
Thank you, Greg.
Second.
Motion to approve Article 25 as written. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none. Mark,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Dan,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Samir,
Yes.
Skip,
I will abstain on
Yep.
potential for anyone to have some wackadoo idea that it somehow violates some conflict of interest law by having them redone. Actually, it'll save me money because part of our money is me driving around taking the pictures and frames places.
abstention noted.
Long vote.
I want wackadoo in the meeting minutes, but
Only Skip would have a 30-minute abstention discussion.
It's only to keep you up, Mark.
Victoria,
I like it,
that,
Skip.
That motion passes with one abstention.
Move to approve Article 26 as presented.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none. Mark,
Yes.
Heather,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Samir,
Yes.
Skip,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Victoria's aye. That motion passes unanimously.
Move to approve Article 27 as
Second.
presented.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none. Mark,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Dan,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Samir,
Yes.
Skip,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Victoria's aye. That motion passes unanimously.
Before we talk about whether or not we're going to support Article 28, how does this article conflict with our vote under Article 16 to amend? So we put in a higher number there. So if we decide to go forward with the higher number and we leave it that way, then this number we borrow less. But if we decide that we want to if this passes and we want to go back to Article 16 in the fall and put the money back where Evan originally had it, how do we rectify that on this vote? Do we vote to recommend this article as presented?
I would
Because we
like,
want the 4 million?
I would like,
Yeah.
I would like to recommend that as presented to give Evan the flexibility of financing it in the most appropriate way, given the outcome of the 3 votes that are affecting it.
I will second that motion.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none. Mark,
Yes.
Heather,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Samir,
Yes.
Skip,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Victoria's aye. That motion passes unanimously.
I think
Can I make another motion?
In his motion.
I have no problem doing that one too. What was that, Mark? I didn't.
Oh, I was going to make a motion to approve that brilliantly written state of the town message. That's the smallest I've seen in 9 years. So great job, whoever did that.
Second.
That's just removing. You still are we all on board with me removing the optional financial piece at the bottom?
Yes.
Okay,
I think so.
I'll remove that part.
Good.
I want-
I don't have to make any notes about it.
I want Mark's motion in the minutes to specifically include the beautiful description.
Although,
We did, it's there.
We haven't finished item 2 yet, so.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about who's writing what.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. I apologize.
Well, you were just very excited about my
You're
my
brilliantly
prose.
written.
Who can blame him?
I really appreciate that. Which we only have a couple that aren't sort of pre-written, if I recall correctly.
And Greg volunteered to do those.
So, I would be happy to do 16 as well.
So we have highlight here 14 and 15.
So the ones in blue, I took a stab at, but they're not ones that you see every year.
Right.
I
I think you did a great job on them.
You get the operating budget every year, but I didn't know if you wanted to change it since
Below?
it's
Oh.
not our typical operating budget.
Yeah.
But the
Because
explanation that we have in here
this came from a blue.
talks about the recommendations. I'm sorry,
Listening to you.
it talks about the reductions in maintenance listed in Appendix B.
I'm fine with what you wrote there.
Yeah, me too.
But Greg is going to rewrite 16.
exactly the language from the last
Yep.
override that FinCom used.
And
Greg wants to do 16.
18 is fine. Is that the one you took a stab at, Amber?
Yes,
Too?
that's great.
Yeah, I think that's fine too. And Greg, you're gonna take 28?
Yeah, 16, 24, and 28.
I can do 21 and 22.
Greg is going to 28. So that leaves us 23, 25, 26, 27.
I'll do the eminent domain ones.
Okay. So that's
I would just put something about in 23 clarifying that this is a Mass dot project.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
that
It's
the
not the
town is
town
not
doing it.
funding the project. We're just handling the easements.
Yeah. We have to
say you were
we have to take those.
Yeah, Skip, Skip, if you want 21 and 22 as well, or if you want 22 as well, that's fine. I can strike 21. Since you wanted that.
Yeah,
with domain.
yeah. Well, no, I just thought that when he mentioned that, I picked up 23 and thought that 23 and the other two that he mentioned were the eminent domain ones, but they aren't necessarily.
Yeah.
so Kyle will do 21 and 22. Skip will do 23.
Yep.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Even though he abstained, do we?
No.
Skip be the-
I'm
no,
doing 23.
I'm saying, even though you
He abstained
abstained, would you be
25.
the best person to write 25?
To write 25. Yeah, I can do a short and sweet thing for that.
Perfect. Great. So that leaves 26 and 27.
I'll do those two. I don't care.
Thank you, Skip. Writer extraordinaire.
Oh, 27's already done.
Thanks, Skip.
By who?
By who?
I don't know what's in my. There's an
there's
explanation.
Yeah.
That's a,
But you gotta say the finance committee supports
recommends.
blah, blah,
okay,
blah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and everyone's comfortable with the fact that these are tomorrow at 7.
Yep.
Okay.
And are we, we're using the language supports the passage of this article for the ones we support passaging, not recommends?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I remember there was a little bit of, we wrote it both ways last time, so make sure.
Well, these are recommends. So
Okay, so is it support or recommends? I guess is my question.
are all the existing ones recommends?
Yep.
Okay,
So
we'll
is-
go with recommends.
Yeah.
Okay,
Recommends passage of.
Yeah, totally fine.
glad I asked.
Yeah. No need to reinvent wheels.
So back to my motion to support the state of the town message as presented,
Second.
With the removal of the historic.
with the removal of the historic piece.
Yeah.
Now, Victoria,
Yes, sir.
I'm just gonna warn you about something. A few years ago, Finance Committee Chair was up for, was running for Select Board. And a huge issue, Heather, you'll remember this,
I remember.
and Skip would remember it too. There was a huge issue that the chair of the Finance Committee who's running for Select Board, giving the state of the town message, gives them an unfair advantage. I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah,
I
I
have
do.
no-
I remember that, which I think
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but so I have no problem with Victoria reading that message. But so I think we should say that now, just in case somebody brings that up.
I have no problem with it.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all I wanted to say.
Deciding their vote
Yep.
based on who
The-
reads
The phrase
or-
wackadoo applies.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to approve the state of the town message as written minus the optional piece and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none. Mark,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Samir, Skip,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Victoria is aye. That motion passes unanimously. And thank you for the warning. I will. I'm gonna read.
Just wanted to make you aware.
I appreciate you, Mark.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
No, I want to stay here and talk
I
more.
know you do. Mark,
Yes.
Heather,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Samir,
Yes.
Skip,
Oh, naturally.
Kyle,
Aye.
Victoria's aye. That motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Good night,
very
everyone.
much. Appreciate it.
Night, everyone.